What is better, owning Bitcoin or the Bitcoin ETFs? Now, this is a very important question to understand, especially with the huge rise that we have seen in Bitcoin ETFs over the last year or so. People have really started to wonder, should I go and just own Bitcoin outright, or should I go and purchase Bitcoin through the new Bitcoin ETFs? Well, in today's video, I want to go ahead and answer that very question, but there are a lot of pros and cons to understand here. So let's start off with Bitcoin first. Should you own Bitcoin? What are the positives, the pros of owning Bitcoin as opposed to the ETFs? Well, when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of people care about actually owning the asset itself. If you want complete and control ownership over your Bitcoin, then owning the actual entity, the actual Bitcoin itself, is going to be your best option. You're going to have increased security because you have complete control over your assets. And also, you can do whatever you want with this at any point in time. The downside of a lot of these ETFs is that you are more restricted. What this means is that you can only trade during those stock hours or during those TradFi hours. So if you want to go and sell your Bitcoin on Sunday at noon, you're not going to be able to do that through the Bitcoin ETFs, but you are going to be able to do that if you actually own Bitcoin itself. Now, another reason that people like to own Bitcoin is, again, security. We kind of already talked about this, but people like to have complete control over their funds. If you go and you purchase Bitcoin through the Bitcoin ETFs, then what this means is that those entities, they are buying Bitcoin, storing it for themselves, and they're giving you essentially like a voucher that says, hey, you own this much worth of Bitcoin, but we're holding it for you behind the scenes. And if you want to go and send that to a wallet, most of those ETF providers will not allow you to do that because you are not the one in control of your own Bitcoin. They're just crediting you with the value of that Bitcoin as it goes up and down through their own spot Bitcoin ETF. So there are a couple of differences here. I'd say that the other thing that you have to consider is that there is options available. Now, for some of you, you might care about this a lot. For others of you, you might not care at all. But let me just explain why this matters so much, and then we'll wrap back to the original question. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin ETFs, these allow you, or most of them allow you to trade options contracts on your Bitcoin. This means that you can do the normal of buying calls and buying puts and getting leveraged on your Bitcoin positions. However, I think the part that a lot of people miss here is that you can sell calls and sell puts for your existing Bitcoin shares inside of the ETF. Now, why this matters is this can actually create a passive income strategy for you based off of these options contracts. So if you want to buy more Bitcoin, you can literally get paid to buy more Bitcoin through selling a put. Or if you want to get paid to sell your Bitcoin on the opposite end of the spectrum, you can go ahead and sell a call for 100 shares that you already own, right? This is called a covered call. So there's a benefit here where you can get paid to buy and paid to sell at a set price. And that's not something that is going to be readily available through just owning Bitcoin on your own. Now, other people might not have access to Bitcoin, or they might not want to learn how to get access to Bitcoin, right? And I think that this is the fourth and final category that we need to understand is how badly do you want to go and get a new platform? How badly do you want to learn how to buy Bitcoin? Now, many of us can go to Robinhood, Coinbase, Kraken, or another popular crypto exchange, and we can create an account and we can buy our own Bitcoin. Easy as that. However, there's a lot of people out there that just don't want to go through the process. Maybe they don't trust the process. They don't want to give their sensitive information out to a new brokerage or a new company, and they want to use their existing financial provider that they have used for their entire lifetime, whether that be BlackRock or Fidelity or whoever it may be. They want to go ahead and just buy through their existing asset manager, through their existing 401k, something along those lines. And for those people that don't want to go and set up a new brokerage, they don't want to go fund a new account, then that's where the Bitcoin ETFs really shine, is that it allows people to not really have to differ from anything that they're used to and still be able to get access to Bitcoin without going through any kind of new process. So again, there are pros and cons, and ultimately, you have to determine which one matters the most for you. Do you care about decentralization? Do you care about actually having your own funds? Do you care about the extra security that can happen or that you can have by owning your own Bitcoin? Do you care about being able to buy and sell at any point in time? Because that is something that you're not going to be able to have with the Bitcoin ETFs. Do you care about having the options to, well, conduct options contracts, right? Being able to buy calls, buy puts, sell calls, sell puts, do things like that, some more advanced strategies. If you do care about that, well, then the ETFs are probably a little bit better for you. Do you really only care about the ease of access? Well, then the ETFs might be a little bit of a better option for you, especially if you don't want to learn something new. I'll say that the final thing that you have to understand here is that the ETFs come with a little bit of a fee structure, whereas Bitcoin itself just has a general transaction fee whenever you are trying to buy and sell it. Now, the expense ratio, on the other hand, is a little bit different. These ETF providers will charge you a rate, a set rate. Now, this can vary. In fact, I'm going to flash this up on the screen, but this can vary from ETF to ETF provider. Some can be more, some can be less. Some can be as low as 0.2%. Others can be as high as 1.5%, depending on the ETF provider. So that's going to be another thing to consider. But again, for some people, they don't really care about paying 0.25% if they can have everything kind of done for them through the ETFs. So is there a clear winner here? I would say no. I think that each one offers its own set of pros and cons. You can look at this and say, maybe I want a little bit of both, like I have over here. Because what I like to do is, again, I like to own my own Bitcoin. I like to make sure that I am in control with at least a decent chunk of it. However, I also think that the ETFs are cool because it can be done pretty much entirely inside of your traditional brokerage account. And again, most of these offer options as an available feature, which as a trader, I really, really enjoy. So there's a lot of pros and cons to kind of consider here, but I hope that this video helped you out and also helped explain the difference between both Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ETFs. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see all of you in the next video.